next is Professor of Sociology Kathy Livingston.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So this is my question. Does a funeral have to be sad and somber? Or could it be an occasion for dancing and celebrating? If you went to a funeral and found it to be lively and celebratory, would you be okay with that? Or would you be offended in any way by that? I certainly hope not, because the National Association of Funeral Directors has noticed an increase in the requests for unusual funerals, including funerals with a Wild West theme. Believe it or not, you're looking at a picture of a funeral in progress. Funerals that include lively music and dancing. These are Morris dancers who are doing an English folk dance. And essentially what we see is a trend that funerals are becoming more celebratory than sad, more informal than formal, and more highly individualistic than conformist. Now, at a traditional wake, a body's laid in a casket at a funeral home for viewing. But at the wake of, most unfortunately, David Colon, he died very early, 22 years old, and his corpse has been dressed not in a suit and tie, but in casual clothes and sunglasses, and he's been positioned atop his motorcycle, his Honda motorcycle, for real, in a very lifelike position. The motorcycle was a prized possession of his given to him by his uncle, and his family wanted him to be remembered this way. So there's also a trend towards personalization in caskets, beautifully painted caskets. This one has been painted to say "into the light" and tells us that the deceased is Jim Daly. This one is a casket that's been decoupaged with a photo of the deceased person who used to fly a plane. And this is an eco-friendly casket that's completely biodegradable and leaves no metal parts in the ground. Now, we see an increase in non-traditional burials with Harley-Davidson becoming a very popular scene. This is a Harley-Davidson pulling a hearse with a casket inside. And here is deceased Bill Stanley. This just happened 4 weeks ago. He is on his 1967 Harley-Davidson, which is inside a plastic box. It's on a metal frame, and it's being lowered into the ground for his burial in Ohio. Here's another shot of his burial process. In the lower right, you'll see his headstone there, Stanley, just a couple of weeks ago. This is someone else's headstone, which is also a motorcycle theme. So if the deceased person has chosen cremation, then their body's going to be burned and turned into ashes, which are called cremains. And cremains can then be scattered or shared or kept by family members. Here are a few of the non-traditional ways of disposing of cremains. The first is reef balls. A reef ball is made from coral and is used by marine biologists to rehabilitate endangered coral reefs. Well, this idea has been taken here is the eternal reef. That's a variation of this idea. It's a cement ball, and the cremains are placed into the cement ball and then placed in the ocean in a permitted location. And here is the size approximately of the eternal reef ball, you'll see there. You can also send your loved one's cremains into outer space. The Memorial Space Flight Service will deliver the ashes of your loved one. What they do is they put the ashes into a capsule that's about the size of a lipstick. On the left, you'll see about 13 individuals' cremains there in little capsules. They're being put into, loaded onto the launch vehicle. And then on the day of launch, the family members can gather and, have a memorial service and then watch their loved one, be launched into outer space. That's pretty amazing. You can also have your cremains turned into diamonds. The cremains would be through a process of high heat, and after about 6 weeks and many thousands of dollars, they can be turned into diamonds and then made into jewelry. So I'm not exactly sure what this says about society, but one thing for sure is that we love Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and another thing is that we like to think outside the box. Thank you.